Deputy President Robert Reid resignation from the FIA. A critical reflection on Mohammed bin Sulayem's leadership and governance issues. In a surprising turn of events within the world of motorsport governance, Robert Reid's recent resignation from the FIA has raised significant questions regarding the leadership of Mohammed bin Sulayem, the FIA's president. Reid, who served as the FIA's deputy president for sport, stepped down amidst growing concerns about the organization's governance and overall direction. This pivotal moment invites a deeper analysis of the challenges the FIA faces under bin Sulayem's leadership, and whether it highlights systemic issues within the organization. Reid's departure comes at a time when the FIA is under considerable scrutiny for its handling of various matters, particularly in light of increasing complexity within the motorsport landscape. With the emergence of new racing technologies, a greater emphasis on sustainability and evolving fan expectations, the FIA's ability to manage these changes effectively is crucial. Reid, who has been well respected for his contributions to rallying and motorsport governance, made it clear through his resignation that he can no longer support the current administration's direction, which he perceives as lacking in vision and coherence. The implications of Reid's resignation extend far beyond individual dissatisfaction. His departure signals potential instability and raises questions about the decision-making processes within the FIA. Since taking office in December 2021, bin Sulayem has faced criticism, especially regarding his approach to governance, communication, and inclusivity. Critics argue that a centralization of power and a lack of transparency have undermined the FIA's effectiveness and credibility. One of the most pressing concerns is the perceived disconnect between the leadership's strategic priorities and the grassroots realities faced by stakeholders, including drivers, teams, and fans. Reid's resignation serves as a wake-up call for bin Sulayem to reassess his leadership style and the operational efficacy of the FIA. The discord within the organization could have long-term implications for motorsport, affecting everything from regulatory frameworks to the development of future initiatives designed to promote safety and sustainability. Moreover, Reid's exit amplifies ongoing discussions about a potential power struggle within the FIA. With whispers of dissatisfaction brewing among other board members and stakeholders, it becomes increasingly evident that there may be fractures within the organization that could hinder its ability to govern effectively. As more voices express concerns, the necessity for a cohesive and transparent leadership approach becomes even more pronounced. As bin Sulayem moves forward, he must address these criticisms head-on, striving to rebuild trust and reforge connections with those he leads, implementing a more inclusive governance model, where diverse voices and perspectives are welcomed, could help mitigate the sense of disillusionment that Reid's resignation embodies. Engaging with stakeholders to collaboratively define the FIA's vision for the future would not only enhance its credibility, but also inspire confidence in its strategic direction. The resignation of Robert Reid from the FIA has intensified scrutiny of the organization's governance, particularly in light of recent statute changes approved in December 2024. Reid attributed his departure to a fundamental breakdown in governance standards within motorsport's global governing body, raising alarms over the implications of these new changes. Critics argue that the recent amendments to the FIA's statutes significantly limit the powers of the audit and ethics committees, which are crucial for ensuring transparency and accountability within the organization. This shift in governance structure has led many to question the FIA's commitment to upholding ethical standards and maintaining rigorous oversight, essential components for any reputable governing body. Under the leadership of Mohammed bin Sulayem, who has faced increasing criticism since taking office in December 2021, these statute changes have sparked a debate about the future integrity of motorsport governance. The limitations placed on the audit and ethics committees could hinder their ability to function effectively, prompting fears of unchecked decision-making and potential conflicts of interest within the FIA's leadership. Reid's resignation signals a broader discontentment among stakeholders regarding the current direction of the FIA. It reflects an urgent call for better governance practices and the need for a robust framework that empowers oversight mechanisms rather than constraining them. The timing of Reed's departure amidst these controversial changes raises critical questions about the future of accountability in motorsport. The concerns surrounding the recent statute changes come at a pivotal moment for the FIA. As the governing body for motorsport, it is essential that it prioritizes transparency and engages constructively with its members, including teams, drivers, and fans. The erosion of the Audit and Ethics Committee's powers, as highlighted by critics, may undermine the FIA's ability to regulate effectively and uphold the integrity of the sport. In response to Reed's resignation and the backlash over the new statutes, there is a pressing need for Ben Sulayem to reassess the governance framework within the FIA. By restoring the autonomy and authority of critical oversight bodies, the organization could reinforce its commitment to ethical practices and rebuild trust with its stakeholders. This situation presents a unique opportunity for the FIA to demonstrate its willingness to adapt and respond to the concerns of the motorsport community. Engaging in open dialogue about governance issues and considering amendments that strengthen audit and ethics committees could help alleviate fears surrounding the integrity of decision-making processes. In conclusion, Robert Reed's resignation and the controversy over the recent statute changes mark a critical juncture for the FIA. The organization must confront its internal governance challenges while ensuring that it remains accountable and transparent to all stakeholders. The actions taken in the wake of these events will significantly impact both the FIA's reputation and the future landscape of motorsport as a whole. The series of high-profile departures, including Natalie Robin and Niels Wittek, indeed signals potential instability within the FIA's leadership. George Russell's comments emphasize a growing concern among drivers and teams about the consistency and reliability of governance in the sport. His observation that recent news from the FIA often lacks positive reinforcement suggests a troubling trend that could erode confidence among stakeholders. This instability could hinder effective decision-making and impact the sport's overall reputation. Such departures and concerns can lead to calls for a comprehensive evaluation of the FIA's leadership structure and operational practices. Addressing these issues transparently is crucial for rebuilding trust and ensuring that the sport can move forward cohesively. The departures of notable figures like Natalie Robin and Niels Wittek can suggest underlying issues within the leadership structure of the FIA or the broader motorsport environment. High-profile exits often point to dissatisfaction with management, governance, or strategic direction. This pattern may reflect concerns over decision-making processes, transparency, or the overall vision for motorsport. When key personnel leave, it can impact not only operational continuity, but also affect stakeholder trust, team morale, and the sport's future direction. Such a trend might prompt a review of leadership practices and a reassessment of priorities to address the underlying causes of dissatisfaction. Engaging with stakeholders and fostering a more inclusive decision-making environment might help mitigate further departures and strengthen governance. A significant change in the promotion of World Rallycross by the FIA. The takeover in March 2025, following the end of the previous promoter's contract, raises questions about governance and approval processes within the organization. Reed's comments about the lack of Senate or World Council approval highlight potential concerns regarding adherence to proper protocols in such transitions. This situation could lead to discussions about the implications for the sport, including regulatory changes, the event's future, and the overall impact on teams, drivers. This shift in governance structure, coupled with the controversial control over the Rallycross Championship, has led many to question the FIA's commitment to upholding ethical standards and maintaining rigorous oversight. The limitations placed on the audit and ethics committees could hinder their ability to function effectively, prompting fears of unchecked decision-making and potential conflicts of interest within the FIA's leadership. In conclusion, Robert Reed's resignation from the FIA has brought to light critical governance issues that challenge Mohammed Ben Sulayem's leadership. It is clear that the FIA stands at a crossroads, forced to confront its internal strife and external expectations. For the FIA to thrive, it must undergo a transformation that embraces transparency, inclusivity, and effective communication. Ben Sulayem has the opportunity to emerge as a strong leader, but only if he is willing to listen and adapt to the evolving landscape of motorsport. As stakeholders closely watch the developments, the FIA's response to this crisis will likely define its legacy for years to come. The FIA's response, which primarily focuses on gratitude without addressing the broader criticisms, could indeed exacerbate concerns regarding transparency and accountability. A lack of clarity from high-ranking officials like Ben Sulayem, following Reed's resignation, may lead to skepticism among teams, drivers, and fans about the organization's direction and decision-making processes. This kind of opacity can foster an environment where speculation thrives, potentially undermining confidence in the governing body's ability to manage the sport effectively. Stakeholders might interpret the silence as an indication of deeper issues within the FIA, prompting calls for more open communication and proactive engagement to rebuild trust. Moving forward, it might be crucial for the FIA to establish clearer channels for addressing concerns and providing updates on organizational changes. Engaging in open dialogue with the F1 community could help mitigate negative perceptions and strengthen relationships within the sport. Robert Reed's resignation indeed marks a pivotal moment for the FIA, signaling potential governance issues and shifting dynamics under Mohammed Ben Sulayem's leadership. The centralization of power, coupled with diminishing transparency, raises critical concerns among stakeholders regarding the organization's commitment to its foundational principles of member participation. This situation could catalyze broader discussions within the motorsport community, especially as the presidential election approaches. Members may push for reforms that emphasize transparency, accountability, and inclusivity. The effectiveness of Ben Sulayem's leadership will likely come under scrutiny as stakeholders assess his responses to governance challenges and his willingness to address the community's concerns. How the FIA navigates this crisis could determine its future credibility and operational framework. Rebuilding trust will require decisive actions, possibly revisiting governance structures to ensure that members have a voice and the organization remains aligned with its core mission. The events surrounding Reed's departure might also influence candidate platforms in the upcoming election, as candidates could position themselves as advocates for more democratic governance. The motorsport community's eyes will be keenly watching, eager to see whether the FIA can adapt and respond effectively to these challenges.